Hey guys, it's time for video number 3 in the kitchen table stamper rain or shine stamp a stack. This is our design this time. There's no one quite like you with a turtle. If there are class packets still available, you can find them at kitchentablestamper.com/shop. When you get to the store, filter by product type and check for class packets. We do make a limited quantity of Stamp a Stack class packets so you can follow along with the video series. Now, like I said, this is video number 3 in a series. Video number 1, we made Hey There. The Stamp a Stack makes 2 of that design. In video number 2, we made Oh Happy Day, and the Stamp a Stack makes 1 of this design. We're currently on There's No One Quite Like You, and I will be back tomorrow with Hello Foxy, the 4th card in our Stamp a Stack. All right, let's get started here. If you are following along, you know that in video number 1, we cut our designer series paper according to the Wonder Recipe, number 14. And we cut a couple of extra little pieces of Mango Melody floral. So we need these 2 and the 3x4 Flirty Flamingo and 1 for each card. Now, the remaining pieces that are still on the grid will be on our Hello Foxy card. So let's set the grid aside for the next video and let's get our card bases in here. Now, again, in video number 1, we embossed our card bases. The cards are 8.5 by 5.5. They're scored at 4 1/4. We embossed with the raindrops, swiped with white ink. Check out video number 1 if you haven't seen it. Now we're going to go ahead and adhere our designer series paper to the cards. Got some multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to be generous with our liquid glue. We don't want the paper to warp or have glue seeping out the edges, but what we do want is for the designer series paper to really get a grip on this embossed background. So we got our Flirty Flamingo and then our Mango Melody. Now, if you're cutting your own kits, you'll do your die cuts. All right, we've got a few things that we did ahead for the kits. From Soft Seafoam, we have the sentiment banner, and this is the short fat banner from Stylish Shapes. We cut that from Soft Seafoam. And then we have, using the layering circles dies, the 2 5/8 inch circle. It's the second from the largest smooth circle, the largest of the scallop circles. This is from Pear Pizzazz. We're going to go ahead and adhere these 2 layers together. And then let's adhere this to the card. And we'll set this aside and do some stamping. All right, let's get some ink pads and the Stampin' Pierce mat. Now, my sentiment is photopolymer, and we're going to need the Stampin' Pierce mat for that. I got my sentiment from the Thanks a Bunch stamp set. I have been mixing some kind of all occasion general purpose sentiments in with the Stamp a Stack. The Rain or Shine bundle, or the Playing in the Rain bundle, which is our feature bundle, has Oh Happy Day and Rainy Days Are Better With You. I wanted some more all-purpose greetings, so that's why I grabbed my Thanks a Bunch. And the next card we'll be using Hello on a little tag here, and this is from the Hello Ladybug stamp set. So look for some greetings among your other stamp sets so that you can just stretch the usefulness of these cards. All right, my Stampin' pads are basic gray and Memento. I'm going to stamp my sentiment low, like all the way along the bottom. There's going to be quite a space at the top of our greeting tag. You want 1 for each card, and that's on purpose because the things are going to layer over. And let's stamp that twice. All right, now got some white cardstock in the kit. We're going to stamp some clouds with basic gray. One set for each card, and the turtle with Memento Tuxedo Black. All right, there's our turtle. Let's go ahead and color our turtle with some Stampin' blends. All right, my turtle is Granny Apple Green, and then the spots on the shell and the belly of the shell are a combination of Pale Papaya and Light Pumpkin Pie. I'm gonna start with the Light Pumpkin Pie and do this kind of inside along the belly next to the outer shell. It's kind of a, we're gonna blend out backwards. Normally we do a coat, a nice even coat of the lightest color, and then build the darker shadows on top. For the shell, we're gonna do kind of the opposite here. We're gonna work out from the darkest shade to the lightest, just blending as we go. And we're even going to bring back the lightest shade and soften the edge between the darkest and the lightest. Now for the spots in the shell, we'll go back to a more traditional way of blending. We'll saturate the spots with the lightest color and then add our shadow with the dark Pale Papaya. And we'll kind of blend that together, just keeping our ink wet. We'll take that pumpkin pie and do this tiniest little hair of a shadow along the edge of the shell. And then we're going to blend that back in softly again. All right, we're done with pumpkin pie. Let's get that one out of here. And now I'm going to do the petals on the flower with the light Pale Papaya. And from the center of the flower, I'm just going to flick some dark Pale Papaya. And it's such a small area, we're not even going to blend that out. But I am going to touch the center of the flower with a little bit of Balmy Blue. Now for the rest of our turtle, got Granny Apple Green. And we're going to do some just traditional blending here. We're going to give a good fill, coloring in segments so our ink stays wet. So we'll start with the face and the neck. We'll add shadow down the back of the head, down the back of the neck, on the little lines where the artist drew for us. And then we're using kind of a swipe here to blend that together. Can fill the arms. You can do both of the arms. Just move quickly so that your ink stays wet. Little shadow is closest to the body, and then little circles to smooth it out in between the segments on the shell. Then we'll continue the shadow that's on the orange segments. And blend that together. And last, the legs. All right, there's our turtley dude. let's do some die cutting. We're gonna need one of each grass. So remember, our grass goes in opposite directions. We've got the little stump. Let me bring my sample in here. Oh, I almost forgot my puddles. Let's do that real quick. We've got the stamp for the puddle. I like the little pop of blue that the puddle brings to the scene. So let's go ahead and stamp one of those and color it with balmy blue. All right. Now we can trim these away from the cardstock here so that we have lots of room on the platform of our die cut machine, because we're going to do some grass and a stump. Then we're going to do a fun kind of letter press technique with the stump to get the wood rings. Let me show you. All right, for the first pass with our stump, you can take your choice of soft suede or crumb cake ink. There's a piece of crumb cake cardstock in your kit, and you're going to drop the die right on the ink pad and tap. You don't want to tap too hard because you're trying to get the ink on the little emboss edges, but not in between those emboss edges on the metal back of the die. Drop that right on to your cardstock, and let's give this a crank. What we're doing here is a faux letter press technique, and it's going to cut the stump, emboss the details, and also print the details. Isn't that cool? All right, then when we cut off the crumb cake and layer it onto the soft suede, we get a very dimensional two-tone stump. All right, let's do the rest of our die cutting. All right, we've got everything lined up and our stump on soft suede. And let's give it a crank. Just a reminder, for the demonstration purposes of the video, I'm just doing one of every element, but your card kit makes two. The Wonder Recipe makes two of this design, so make sure that you're doing two of everything. And you'll see in just a minute, by the magic of television, I have another one of everything right here. All right, we've got our cards back in. Let's make sure we got them the right way. There's our two-piece stump. Let's go ahead and make this really dynamic. We're going to cut off the rings from the crumb cake stump. Add some liquid glue to the soft suede stump, and then just paper piece that dude right in there. And now look at that. Isn't that cool? Now here's the difference I want to show you. Here is the stump, a little bit more subtle, crumb cake letter pressed with crumb cake ink. And then here is crumb cake letter pressed with soft suede ink. So you can choose whichever you prefer. Let me get some dimensionals on the back of my turtles and on the back of the stumps. All right, I've got some dimensionals and they're all sticky, so I'm just going to slide this aside for a minute because we're going to add our banners to our cards, which is going to build kind of the base of our whole design. Then our puddles for our little turtle. Ah, got a little too much glue. You know what to do when that happens. Share the glue. Got another puddle here. I'm just going to drag this puddle. Now we're ready for our stump. And turtles. grass. Clouds. Now we need a little pop of color. Let's grab our flowers. And if you've got the kit, we cut these ahead with the Petal Park flower punch. And the centers are 1/4 inch hole punch, circle hole punch, you would find in your office supply drawer. I use my little Fiskars 1/4 inch circle punch. All right, so those are punched ahead. If you're making your own kit, that's how to do it. And let's bring in our Stampin' Pierce mat. Take your pick tool. We're going to shape the flower and add the center with a little piece of dimensional. I like to do just 1/4 of a mini, tiny little piece. Oh look, there's one right here. And bump that flower center up. It really gives a little dimension. There's our flowers, one for each card. Let's pop them on glue dots. And add them in the grass. And then a cute way to add a pop of color. Now let's add some texture. Got these really cute pebble enamel shapes. You got a whole pack in the class packet, if you've got that. And we're going to just scatter these. And really, it doesn't matter what color, what shape. The more random I found, the better. At first, I really tried to control it, but it turns out that if you keep it kind of random, you get better results. Mix up the colors. There's the 2 grays and the browns. I like to just be careful to sprinkle the brown throughout and kind of share them, because they're the one that's a little bit contrast. We did 5. Let's do this little guy. And none of them are going to be exactly the same. And that's just okay. They're going to look natural. And there it is. There's no one quite like you. All right, that is design number 3 in the Rain or Shine Stamp-A-Stack. And if you've got any questions, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the last video, the final video, where we make Hello Foxy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.